Thank you for clicking on this video. Today, I will tell you horror stories that are scary enough to accompany you to sleep. Before we continue with the story, first press the like button on this video and don't forget to also press the subscribe button to this channel. And what is it like for the story this time? Let's go straight into the story. The black figure actually looked happy, bro. His body swayed more and more as if he was dancing. Not only that, this figure also turned his head around and said, "Where are you going? How come you're already going down?" So the story I will tell tonight was sent by our friend Sarina from West Jakarta. Hello, Sarina. This horror experience was experienced by Sabina in 2021 at the boarding house of one of her friends who was also in Jakarta. So the story is that at that time Sarina was a fourth semester student who was on semester break. Even though she was on holiday, Sarina was busy with group assignments. At that time, he was in a group with two of his friends, Maria and Gina. Gina is from Manado. When she wanted to do these tasks, Sarina took the initiative to stay overnight at Gina's boarding house. Gina's boarding house is in the middle of the area between Sarina's house and Maria's boarding house. After being allowed to stay overnight, that day, Sarina went to Gina's boarding house. When she arrived at the boarding house, Sarina was amazed because Gina's boarding house was a very luxurious, exclusive boarding house with super complete facilities. The boarding house is a very spacious 4-story building, and Gina's room is on the 3rd floor. Each room is equipped with various electronic devices such as TV, AC, water heater, microwave, and so on. Not only that, on the rooftop of the boarding house, there is also a cafe, which is quite busy with people. As a result, the situation in Gina's boarding house is never quiet, because every day there are people passing by there. Because the atmosphere in the boarding house was very clean and well maintained, over time Sarina felt at home staying there. But unfortunately, this didn't last long because on the umpteenth day of his stay, a horror incident beyond reason began to happen to the two of them. One night on Friday, Sarina stayed at Gina's boarding house as usual. That evening, after finishing their assignments, the two of them chatted casually while ordering food via an online application. When the food driver arrived, Gina went straight down to the lobby to get the food, while Sarina waited in the room, occasionally checking their work. When Sarina was alone, she faintly heard the sound of two people chatting outside, right in front of Gina's room. At first, Sarina just relaxed and didn't think anything strange. But strangely, over time, the two people's voices became louder and noisier, as if more people were joining. Then, among the crowd, someone could hear someone laughing loudly. Sarina started to feel annoyed, but she chose not to bother. He thought maybe it was the voice of the occupant of Gina's front room, who was with her friends. Not long after, Gina returned to the room carrying food. The two of them immediately ate the food together. While eating, Gina suddenly asked, "Hey Sarina, how come I feel like this past week, the atmosphere in my boarding house has been very quiet? My boarding house neighbors on the 3rd floor have all moved out." Hearing that, Sarina was immediately shocked and asked, "Huh? What do you mean?" "Just now, I heard the sound of a crowd in front of your room, just like the occupants of the front room inviting their friends to play here." Gina answered, "Are you right? Don't make it up. My front room is empty. The occupants just moved in a few days ago. Only 2 people live on the 3rd floor, Rindy and I in the room at the end. Today Rindy is returning home to Bandung, so it's just the 2 of us on the 3rd floor." After hearing that explanation, Sarina's face, which was originally calm, suddenly turned pale. "Wow, I was scared," said Sarina. Gina, who noticed the change, tried to calm Sarina. That's it. There's no need to think about it. It's nothing. Maybe it's the voices of the cafe visitors on the 4th floor that can be heard up here." "Yeah, maybe," answered Sarina. But apparently, Gina's words had not succeeded in calming Sarina. Now he became curious and wanted to check directly on the rooftop to see if there were really many people there. "Because I heard it just in front of Gin's room," he said. Driven by curiosity, Sarina finally invited Gina to go to the rooftop to check. When we got there, it turned out that the cafe was indeed busy with several visitors and boarding house children. Sarina thought, "Oh, safe means. It's possible that what I heard earlier was indeed the voice of a visitor upstairs. Although it doesn't seem possible that the voice was actually at the door, but never mind. Just think positively." After making sure there was nothing strange there, Sarina and Gina did not immediately return to their room. They chose to relax in one of the spots on the rooftop with their backs to the cafe. By the way, the cafe building is not a full rooftop, only about 1/4 of the land area. So there are several empty spots there. They hung out in the empty spot while enjoying the hustle and bustle of Jakarta. Until without realizing it, it was already 10 p.m. and the busy cafe visitors were no longer there. The cafe was also closed. After finding out that it was just the two of them on the rooftop, Sabina realized that there was a room in the left corner of the rooftop with a door that said 401. From a distance, the room looked empty because the lights were off. Out of curiosity, Sarina asked Gina, "Hey Gina, the lights always turn off in that room every day, right? I didn't even notice that there was a room there." "Yes, the room has been empty for a long time. That's why the lights were turned off, because there were no occupants," answered Gina. "Oh, fast," said Sarina. Just as they were talking about the room, they were suddenly woken up by the voice of a woman crying. Did you hear the sound of a girl crying?" asked Sarina. "Yes, I heard," answered Gina. "I wonder whose voice it is. It feels like it's just the two of us on the rooftop." Before he could get an answer, suddenly the sound of crying turned into the sound of a woman giggling. At that moment, they immediately realized that this was not a human voice. Feeling scared, Sarina immediately took Gina back to her room. "Come on, let's go back. This isn't right anymore," he said. They walked slowly towards the door down the stairs so as not to look afraid. However, just as they opened the stairwell door, they were again shocked by the sound of a woman's laughter booming behind Gina's shoulder. "Immediately my legs were shaking so badly I was so scared," said Sarina. Sarina closed her eyes reflexively while reading Bible prayers. "Oh God, help us, save us." Not long after praying, the laughter suddenly disappeared. Sarina thought, I can't hear his voice anymore. This means safety." She opened her eyes and looked around. But at that moment, Sarina saw a large black shadow bouncing towards the stairwell door behind them. At the same time, they heard the sound of someone stretching their neck. Kretek, kretek. Sarina reflexively looked back and saw the figure of a creature with burnt skin, thin, tall, with dreadlocks and red eyes grinning at her. His lips were torn up to his ears. Seeing such a terrifying appearance, Sarina immediately screamed. The black figure seemed happy to see Sarina scared. His body swayed as if dancing. The figure also turned his head around and said, "Where are you going? Why are you already going down?" Sarina felt her body freeze and almost fainted. But he was still able to control himself and went back to reading Bible prayers silently while closing his eyes. When Sarina was breaking and praying for the second time, she suddenly heard the sound of something falling. Out of curiosity, Sarina opened her eyes and saw that the sound came from Gina, who suddenly fell to the floor as if someone had pushed her from behind. At the same time, Gina realized that the person pushing her was the black figure with dreadlocks that Sarina had previously seen. Seeing her friend fall, Sarina immediately grabbed Gina's hand. Come on, get up! We have to go!" However, before Gina managed to stand up, the black figure approached them while walking like a horse. Fortunately, before they were physically touched, they had already run as fast as they could to find another way out, avoiding the previous stairwell door. Not far away, they found a small door that seemed to connect the rooftop to the ground floor. "Come on, hurry, hurry, hurry," said Sarina while taking Gina's hand. However, the disturbance appeared again when they ran down the emergency exit stairs. After running around, they didn't think they had reached Gina's room. "Why don't we go to my room? Can't we just go down one more floor? Gina asked. Yeah. Why are we kind of stuck here? Sarina replied. In confusion, they agreed to stop running and pray with their respective beliefs, hoping to get out of there. Sarina, who is Christian, and Gina, who is Buddhist, pray together. After calming down a bit, they went back down the stairs. This time, they were no longer stuck and saw a door that looked like the exit.
"Oh my God, we can finally find the exit," they said with relief. However, as soon as Sarina opened the door, they were shocked by an object falling from above. It turned out that the object was the head of the black figure with dreadlocks. They closed the door and could only cry while panicking and afraid. "Oh my God, what's wrong with us? Why are we being bullied this badly?" Sarina said. After a few minutes of crying, they dared to return to the room. Sarina suggested that they return to the rooftop and go through the first door they passed earlier. However, Gina refused. "I don't want to go that way. We'll meet that figure again later." "Come on, just go this way. I've never been this way either. Let's just try something for sure instead of being stuck here all the time," persuaded Sarina. After a small argument, they agreed to return to the rooftop and go through the first door on the stairs. Fortunately, the situation was safe when they arrived at the rooftop. They immediately went down the stairs and entered Gina's room. Strangely, when they got to their room, the wall clock showed 3 p.m., even though the last time they looked at the clock it was 11 p.m. That means they have been trapped at the top for approximately 4 hours, even though they felt it was only a few minutes. Even though there were many oddities, they decided to sleep without discussing the horror incident they had just experienced. "Just sleep, rest, don't discuss anything else," said Gina. The next day, they woke up feeling quite relieved. When morning arrived, they dared to discuss last night's events. Gina said that when she fell for the first time, she heard the figure whisper, "Give me home, send me home. You are the ones who called me, and you must also send me home." "What does that mean? Return to where? Did we do anything wrong during our stay here?" asked Gina. "You're fine," said Sarina. "As long as I've been staying in this boarding house, I've never done anything strange. You know, we're just here studying and doing assignments. I don't know what he meant or why he asked to come back to us." Even though Sarina tried not to care about the incident, she was often haunted by the image of the terrible figure she saw last night. The image continued to haunt his mind. As a result of this fear, Sarina decided not to stay at Gina's boarding house any longer. Every time he had to complete a task, he always went home that same night. However, a few days later, Sarina was forced to stay overnight again at Gina's boarding house to do her homework. Actually, Sarina didn't want to, but because Gina insisted, she finally complied with the request. That night, after they finished their assignments, Sarina and Gina rushed to bed. Before going to bed, Sarina reminded Gina, "Change your sanitary napkin first or you'll forget it again." Gina followed the advice and went straight to the toilet to change her sanitary napkin. However, he threw the used sanitary napkins into the trash in the room without washing them first. "Gina, wash your pads first. Don't just throw them away like that. Pads can become devil's food," Sarina scolded. "No need to say anything strange. It's safe here. There are no more demons," answered Gina annoyingly, refusing to clean her sanitary napkin. Sarina finally said nothing and went straight to sleep. Not long after they fell asleep, Sarina suddenly heard Gina shouting, "Wake up! Wake up!" "Why, I was just sleeping," said Sarina irritably. "Sorry, I was scared. Try looking beside the cupboard. I heard a crackling sound from earlier," said Gina. Because she had just woken up, Sarina rubbed her eyes before seeing clearly. After his eyes got used to the light, he saw a woman with dreadlocks licking Gina's discarded sanitary napkin. That figure was the figure that haunted them on the rooftop the other day. Sarina, weak and scared. He tried to say a prayer, but the figure remained there. Gina also dared to take the phone and call the boarding house guard. "Please, boarding house guard, come upstairs, please." After the boarding house guard went upstairs, the black figure disappeared. However, Gina still asked the boarding house guard for help to clean the trash can in their room. After everything was settled, Sarina and Gina chose not to sleep until morning arrived. "I don't want to be here anymore. Do you want to come with me back home or stay alone?" Sarina said. The next morning, after sunrise, Sarina immediately packed her things and went home. In his heart, he was determined. Whatever happens, I will never play at Gina's boarding house again. Instead of the trauma going away, it's haunted again. After Sarina came home, Gina called her spiritual teacher, a monk in Manado, and told her about all the horror events they had experienced. The monk was immediately able to see through and explain what really happened in Gina's boarding house. According to the monk's vision, 2 days before the incident, in Ginz's boarding house, there were 4 men carrying out a spirit summoning ritual on the rooftop, specifically in room 401. They were having fun and were curious about mystical things. The black figure with dreadlocks was the spirit they had summoned. One spirit that was successfully summoned in the ritual apparently could not be returned by the 4 men because they were just having fun. As a result, the dreadlocked figure was trapped in room 401 and has been hanging around there for the last few weeks. The figure was not a boarding house resident, but was the result of a spirit summoning ritual carried out by the 4 men. The monk explained that Sarina and Gina were haunted not because they had done anything wrong, but because the figure happened to see them on the rooftop. Because it was quiet on the rooftop and they were tired, the figure was just trying to scare them. After hearing the monk's explanation, Gina felt doubtful and finally asked the boarding house guard about room 401 on the rooftop. The boarding house keeper explained that the room was empty, but a few weeks ago, 4 people rented the room for 3 days. Hearing this explanation, Gina realized that what the monk said was true. The spirit summoning ritual did take place in the boarding house. Gina decided to move out of the boarding house because she didn't want to be haunted anymore. Fortunately, after Gina moved, neither Sarina nor Gina ever experienced any mystical incidents again. The terror only happened in this luxury boarding house. However, there is one mystery that remains unanswered. Sarina and Gina circled around the emergency exit stairs, but after checking again, it turned out the emergency exit was not there. The only door down on the rooftop was the main door where they first saw the shadow of the black figure. Until now, the whereabouts of the emergency exit they entered that night remains a mystery. "I don't know," said Sarina. "But the important thing is, Gina and I are no longer terrorized." The 4 men who performed the ritual may also have been disturbed, but Sarina didn't know for sure. "I think so, but I don't know either," said Sarina. Okay, so that was the story of Sarina and Gina's experience of being haunted by a black figure with dreadlocks in that exclusive boarding house. Even though it only happened twice, the incident was quite traumatic. If I were Sabina, I would get goosebumps too. Heads fall from above. Thank you very much to Sarina and Gina for sharing their horror stories. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, click like, don't forget to leave a comment below, and share this video. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you know when I upload a new video. And of course, don't forget to click the subscribe button so my channel can continue to grow. See you in the next video, and always stay safe.